We have the adoption report, the adoption of the agenda. The agenda before you is printed. Any corrections, say clerical or the editors?
Nothing from the public, so we adopted as printed.
There you have a motion. Second by Ms. Donna Doss. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda is adopted. Likewise, we have the minutes of the regular session of July 13th. Any corrections in these, say clerical? Motion by Dr. Glad, second by Lisa Best, that we adopt the minutes of the July 13th meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Minutes are adopted as printed. Moving into reports, Dr. Lewis, you have quite a lengthy one.
All right. So, Mr. President, I'd like to report 7 faculty resignations, 50 faculty recommendations, 16 faculty points of reference, 1 custodian point of reference, 1 custodian recommendation, 6 food service recommendations, and 1 transportation point of reference.
You have been busy. Any questions, Dr. Lewis, on this report? No, thank you so much for your work on this. Okay, moving along, Ms. Duke, you'll have our financial reports, all 3 of them.
Okay, the first report is on the sales tax collections for the month of July. This is the first collections for our new fiscal year. Total collections this month, July, compared to July of 2020, we're up about 39.3%. Again, mainly because of the new collection of the half-cent sales tax that was passed by voters in 2020. As you know, we've been giving these performance equivalents, comparing it to a normal month of operation or a normal period of operations. And whenever we back out that 2020 sales tax collection, performance is actually about 0.86% higher than collection of performance than compared to July of 2020. Okay, but it's positive, so we're still in the black. Okay, so the next report is the financial statements. This is the final report for June. It is unaudited. It is a cash basis report. We still have adjustments that we're doing to try to close out the fiscal year. Again, working with auditors and doing those normal year-end things before we file a final official report with the Department of Education by September 30th. So these numbers are subject to change, but they're very close to what the final numbers would end up being. So, total, as you know, this year we changed the way we are funding or transferring monies to our health insurance trust account. We're doing it through health insurance clearing account that's within the general fund now. And total for the year of contributions made for employed positions being paid out of the general fund is about $10.7 million. Now that money is being collected from other local tax funds that have normally funded that directly to the health insurance fund. We transfer it here so we can see that cost associated with the salaries that are being paid out of the general fund. It's just aligning the cost of employees all within that one fund. And of course you've seen that now all year long. General fund, total operations, we are projecting here ending the year with $140,000 excess of funds with ending balance of $3.6 million in fund balance. Sales tax funds, of course, with the June 30th report, we have paid the 13th check and the 2020 one-time payment for the new sales tax. So the balances reflect how we've ended the year. We did not include any of the accruals in this report yet for collections for the month of July. They're pulled back into June. That's done as one of our year-end entries as well. The second page, you can see the 2020 sales tax where we've made the salary distribution out of that salary supplement fund. And with the ending with a fund balance of $620,000. Expenditures total out of the salary supplement fund was $1.3 million. Again, that was only a prorated amount for this year. It wasn't the full amount. The payment of the $3,000 for certified and $1,500 for support staff that that we're starting to make this month in salaries. Okay, so total general operating funds, we have as a percentage of our unassigned fund balance, 18.9% of our fund balance is a percentage of our expenditures is in our unassigned fund balance, which is a good, strong number. Okay, and then again, our regular maintenance funds, 5 meals reported with a fund balance of 1.6 million. Food nutrition at 1.4 million. We've discussed our sales tax funds briefly, and closed out. Balances look good for our local tax funds, considering the year that we had this past year. Also, that being said, we're going to present the financial report for July. We're going to present a different kind of report. You'll see more funds. I know we have grant funds that you don't get to see on a regular basis. We're going to be grouping those more like the budget, so that you can see all the funds, total funds of the school board. That's contributing to the operations of the school board starting next month. So it'll be a little bit different format, and whenever we adopt the budget, we'll talk about that, and in the financial report for July, we'll go through that. It'll take a little bit more time to go over that. Okay, and then the last report is the health insurance fund report. Total contributions and income for the month of June. This is the report as for the month of June. 1.1 million. This is a little bit lower than our contributions on average for the year and for this month last year. We do have our total fixed costs and our claims expenses are running about the same, around 335,000. Total claims expense is up slightly. On average, we pay about $655 on average, $655,000 on average in claims each month. Total for the year in claims, 3.9 million. Total plan expenses for the year, 5.9 million. Total excess net assets for the year, 1.2. Again, this is 6 months into the year ending June 30. Okay.
Any questions, Ms. Duke? Mask, choking me up. Thing hot. All right. No unfinished business, but in the new business, we have the revised budget for 2021. Let's do it again.
Okay, we have for you the document that is our revised budget for the 2021 fiscal year. It's showing you how the end of the year. Remember, whenever the board adopted the original budget in September of 2020, included in the resolution was a provision that we bring back to you an end-of-the-year budget showing, recapping to you all the changes that have been made throughout the year. And this is what this document does. So if you open up and flip to page 1, it's the landscape page. It basically just summarizes all the funds and the fund groups that are reported in this document. And these are basically the fund groups that you'll see reported on a monthly basis starting next month in July. I'm going to change that up a little bit so you can see this total picture. So general funds, as you can see, the funds that are included in those is our general operating accounts, just our true general fund account that contains our MFP money and some local tax, property tax funds. We have the 1967 sales tax, the 79 sales tax, the new 2020 sales tax, the 1990 we have Warm tax, and then we also have some Medicaid funding that goes into to make up our general fund. So what we're estimating for as far as ending the year in the general fund, total revenues taken in, 55.8 million. Total expenditures of 52 million. Other sources and uses netting to a total of 282,000, with a total excess of funds for the year of 3.9 million, bringing our total ending fund balance for all of our general operating funds to 18.1 million. Okay, there's a lot of different things going on there. Mainly, if you look at the 2020 sales tax line, you can see the excess of those funds, 2.2 million. That is largely a contributing factor to why that fund balance is jumping up in the general fund this year. But also, just going to question that back. If you look back into the couple pages back to the general fund combined budget, you'll also see where there is a drop in, if you look at page 3, I'm sorry, page 4. general fund. You can see that our state minimum foundation program funding dropped a little bit. We estimated $31.5 million for the year in general fund, and it's actually dropped down to $30.9 million. That's because of the loss of about 177 students, in addition to, well, you can't see it clearly here, but in addition to funding being transferred to other LEAs and charter schools that provide education to students who still live here in Lincoln Parish. So we did have a slight decrease in that. Okay, going back to page 1, we have a recap of our special revenue funds. These are various other restricted local funds, local taxes, state grants, federal pass-through grants that come through the state. This also includes all of the, what we call, quote, the CARES Act money, but those are referred to, those are all education stabilization funds, the 3 acts that were passed by Congress providing funding for education during the pandemic for this past year. So you can kind of just peruse and see what some of those funding sources were. Total education stabilization funds that were taken in or awarded or allocated to the school system this past year. It doesn't reflect all the money, but just substantially the ones that have been budgeted at this point is $5,099,000. Total expenditures that we've spent to date, or estimated to, or budgeted to spend to date, is $3.7 million. Some of that is some of the revenue includes reimbursements that have been made to the school board for the previous fiscal year whenever we were under the stay-at-home order. Also, we have our maintenance and operating funds, our district maintenance and operating funds. You can see the budget that we projected there. Really just nothing unusual in those district maintenance, operating and maintenance funds. They're continuing to pay utilities. That's the bulk of the cost that they pay. But that funds. Sales taxes in general have increased about 15.9%, just because of normal increases. The projected revenue for the 2020 sales tax, that increased about 30, was a little bit higher than what we initially anticipated that tax to bring in whenever we first estimated that. But that's all a good thing. So we are doing well there. So that's pretty much a summary of the revised budget. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those or find answers for you. Other than that, Mr. Mitchum, we'd like to request that the board approve the revised budget for 2021 fiscal year.
Questions from Ms. Stewart? We have a motion to adopt the revised 2021 budget. Motion by Linda Henderson, second by Debbie Abram. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Ms. Bender, permission to advertise for interactive panels and peripherals.
Thank you. Just last month, I asked for permission to advertise for interactive panels. And since that time, we've learned that we have some additional funding that would be available to us sooner than expected. So therefore, I'm requesting permission to revise that original request for proposal to include, besides interactive panels, additional laptops for teachers, charging carts for all of these Chromebooks and tablets we have, and then additional document cameras. That the document cameras connect to the interactive panel so they can share documents and so forth out to the students. The funds for this source of purchase will be the ESSER 2 funds, and my recommendation is that the board grant permission to revise my original advertisement for proposal with the additional mentioned items in accordance with state law and local policy.
Okay. Heard a recommendation on this. Any questions on Ms. Bender? Motion by Danny Hancock, second by Lisa Best, to be advertised for these peripherals and panels. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Ms. Bender.
Thank you.
Fall school instructional supply allocation. Ms. Duke again.
Okay, this is a normal request that we bring before the board this time of year to allocate additional monies to the schools. for certain types of expenditures. This is the fall allotments. This is used to, it's after the allocations are based on student enrollment. Libraries provide funding for library supplement, classroom supplies, office supplies, equipment repairs, some student services, speech debate band allocations are included, and then an allocation specifically for kindergarten preschool teachers. Total allocation is $104,986. The source of funding is the 1979 instructional portion of that of the 1979 sales tax, with restoration to allocate those funds, which will be paid directly to schools and deposited in their accounts for spending at their level.
Any questions, Ms. Duke, on this item? It's a routine item that we do every year. Hope that answers. Motion that we accept these allocation of funds. Second by Ms. Susan Wiley. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Duke. All right, redistricting plan and resolution. Mr. Stewart.
Okay, so the 2020 census data got in here, should be coming out later this year. Actually, we think it will come out later this month. Historically, we've worked together with the Parish Police Jury and us as a school board to do reapportionment and draw voting district lines by working with the school board. With the school board and the police jury working together, that works out for a little cheaper for us all to do that. And in this, we would like to adopt this resolution, or ask you to adopt the resolution relative to election districts of Lincoln Parish School Board, authorize and direct its duly elected president, Mr. Mitchell, to execute the contract for demographic services with strategic demographics out of Baton Rouge. With us working together with the police jury, it would be $13,000 apiece. We would be pretty well at the beginning of the line to get this done. And with school board elections being next year, we want to make sure we go ahead and get it done and have plenty of time before qualifying and all of that. So we would ask that you adopt this resolution, Mr. President.
Do we need two separate votes, one for hiring Blair and one for the resolution, or?
I think the resolution hires him, but we do need a roll call vote.
All right.
I'll make that motion.
Motion for Dr. Glad that that the resolution goes forward with doing the census work. Depending on what it's gonna be with COVID going and all, who knows what the number's gonna finally be. Okay? Motion by Dr. Glad, second by Danny Hancock. All those in favor, say aye. Oh, excuse me, roll call vote,
Linda Henderson?
Yes.
Hunter Smith?
Yes.
Both Andrews?
Yes.
George Matt?
Yes.
Debbie Gabriel?
Yes.
Danny Hancock?
Yes.
Donna Doss?
Yes.
Susan Wiley?
Yes.
David Ferguson?
Yes.
David Collette?
Yes.
Lisa Beth?
Yes.
Joe Mitchell?
Yes. So it is 12 yeses, no noes, and no abstain. Motion carries. All right. Thank you very much. Moving into regarding Blue Cross Blue Shield antitrust litigation. Ms. Dukes.
So this is information I believe everyone who has a Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance policy probably got some type of notice, email, postcard, something in the mail talking about this opportunity to join a settlement class for an antitrust litigation that's been filed against Blue Cross Blue Shield. And to neither admitting fault or no fault, Blue Cross has entered into this settlement just to keep from paying out more attorney's fees, et cetera. And so they made a payment to a settlement fund for the class of participants who would have a claim against them for any cause. And I think the payment that they made after attorney's fees and all is about $1.9 billion. They made it to a settlement trust account to pay out claims. So this request is to grant permission for the board to authorize the school board to participate in this settlement. As a self-funded health plan, there is a restriction. We're limited to the amount that the self-funded health plans are very limited in how self-administered plans are limited in how much they can participate in this settlement class. So they've only set aside about 120 million nationally for self-insured plans to participate in this settlement class. So we're just requesting permission to join, to enroll. I think this enrollment is going to be open until about the middle of November. This would enable us to, with little effort, whatever funds were available, depending on how big the claimant pool is going to determine how much money is distributed of that 120 million to us. But this basically goes to offset, or is based on what we paid to Blue Cross as far as administrative fees, including fees for stop loss coverage. You know, as we talked, your David Sharp talked about stop loss coverage. Those types of fees, whenever Blue Cross is carried for that, that we could possibly get reimbursed for. So we just request permission to allow us to participate in this and to authorize the superintendent and anyone else he designates to take care of whatever paperwork is necessary to try to get whatever we can for the school board from the settlement proceeds.
Okay. Y'all heard the recommendation then on this item, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Questions?
I have a question on that. What you're talking about is reimbursement to the Lincoln Parish School Board, not to individuals that may have received the
That's
postcard?
correct. It's just administrative costs.
Okay, so those that receive the postcard would still be eligible to
Participate.
join the big suit. And what we're talking about with your request for recommendation is money into only the Lincoln Parish School Board, you said administrative costs.
Right.
Other questions? Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we accept her request.
Okay. Motion by Dr. Collette. Second by Lisa Bass and Dr. Dawes. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Duke. All right, Mr. Durden, report.
Okay, we did finish our second 2 weeks of summer school for pre-K through 8th grade and an ACT. That went very well. We feel like we got 4 good weeks of summer school in for our students to help them catch up and get ahead for this coming school year. All that went great. I want to say a special thank you to our custodians and maintenance staff who have gone above and beyond this summer trying to get the schools clean and ready to go for the start of the year. Last year we had some struggles with that with COVID going on, but we've worked hard and got everything ready to get school started. Of course, this year will be a little challenging starting out again. Our bus drivers will be sanitizing every bus every morning after every route. Teachers, paras, secretaries will all be cleaning desks, doing everything again this year to make our schools as safe as possible. Our goal is to have everyone in person every day, all year long. We know from what we'll see coming out the next few days with scores, and test scores and things, those that came to school performed much better. So we hope to keep all of ours there. We do have an administrative workshop for our administrators starting this Thursday at the New Tech room at Ruston High. 8 to 1 or 2, 3, whenever we get done, all day long. It's a long day, but it's a lot of information. And then Friday, we'll be back here at the STEM Center with administrators and other leaders at our schools for John Geis to give about a 3-hour overview of laws and policies and things that we just need to be made aware of for the upcoming school year. And then everybody will have about another week to get things ready, and then teachers will report the following Monday, and kids will come on that Thursday. Everybody knows the governor came out with a mandate yesterday for masks. We will be following the mandate if they're 5 and up, which is kindergarten and up. We'll be wearing a mask every day. We'll do what we can to help them with that throughout the day. We can go outside some. It is for when you're inside. If classes can be some outside, that would be great. But we have checked with our health officials in our region. We've checked with some of our attorneys and everything, and for us to be covered and keeping our kids as safe as possible, we will follow the mandate, and hopefully it will be short, and we can get past this, and everybody going to school without masks and seeing each other, and the teachers would love to see kids' faces all day long, and kids want to see teachers' faces, and that's our goal in the end, but to begin with, we especially want to make sure we're keeping them safe and get past this part of the trying times, we'll say.
Right.
That's it.
Comments of board members? Lisa Beth?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Y'all very much.